Hello, here's Lacrima. Welcome back to my channel. In today's artist interview, we will learn more about an amazing artist and designer named Soratern. If you want to get notified about new interviews and other videos, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Now I wish you much fun with the interview.
Hello there, my name is Soratern. I am a Brazilian artist and nice to meet you.
What's behind your artist name?
About my artist name, that's actually a funny story. It is actually because I could not find myself on the internet if I search for my other nicknames. The other being Nicks. Like, just imagine, I was searching for myself, I could not find it, so I had to create something that is actually useful. So, I tried to find something that was weird as a name and easy to remember. So I came with the idea of creating a name based on the word sovereign. And therefore I create Soratern. It is the story about it. It is a word that has no meaning. That on itself is a fun thing because it actually fits with me because I dislike labels. So and I really like to be that iconic, that unknown factor about the thing. So yeah, a name that don't has any particular meaning actually hustle my genius.
How would you describe your art and style?
How I would define my art style? That's an interesting question because I'll probably tell you that I don't know it myself, so how can I actually tell you things? But let's find out that thing together, right? So one thing that my art is actually based on, it is on my studies because have a higher degree on graphic design. So therefore, while I was studying, I actually learned about the history of art and all that jazz. So I am heavily influenced by the basics and the classic painting. So yeah, classic paintings and classic designs. But one of the things that I really love from the bottom of my heart, it is Russian constructivism. There is a school of design and a school of propaganda that has a really strong shapes and strong forms and all that kind of jazz. So it is one of those things that heavily influenced my work and heavily it is just, at least for me, it is something that actually defined how I drew and how the things that I actually like looks like. Because in the end of the day, when you actually start to study design and actually the simplest way of communication, like if you just see any sort of manual from Bauhaus, there is something that you actually start to notice how graphic pieces are. So yeah, that's it, I guess.
What do you aim to express with your work?
About what I want to express with my art? That's a weird question, at least for me, because there is not exactly a line that I want to express most of the times. It is most ideas that flew over my head and I try to grasp it. Like instance, at these days I was drawing some Afro-looking girl with some clothing, the sport clothing, because I was surfing on Instagram and I just saw a lot of sports clothes and sports things, so I have to design my own. That was the point of it. Most of the times nowadays it is not so much what I'm supposed to do or try to express. It's just I need to actually record my ideas, because they come a lot and there are really a lot of ideas flowing through my head. But that in itself is a problem to me because because of this my work is completely random. You cannot find the same kind of line into a piece into other. It just kind of births, and that's the point of it. I and maybe I could start thinking about the birth of self, but yeah, it's just some a really interesting way of recording my ideas. That is my work.
How long have you been creating?
Here I have to tell you about when I start creating. There is no exact date for it. It just happens. Because when I was young, most of the times I actually create before I was a little bigger boy. I was creating to shelter myself from the reality because living around here and living my social environment there is Brazil, and my household was actually somewhat hard, and because of that, I always created words inside my head. Always created creation. It has always been part of me. So yeah, that's it, I guess.
Who or what are your biggest influences?
About influences, I'll be fair with you. There's so many. Like it is really hard to pinpoint where my art comes from and where the things that I love. Like I said earlier, one of the things that heavily influenced me was actually my studies, and one of the things that was actually my teachers. They itself they were pretty good artists, but one of those artists was actually street art, and street art was one of the things that actually always was someone near me, because I didn't live in a really, fancy place. I was really simple. I'm still a really simple guy. I would not say poor, because that right. Yeah. Okay, so I was heavily influenced on street art and like rap and all that kind of jazz. And the other thing that is heavily influenced me, it is those YouTubers, those teachers that actually teach some really good content. Like Cynics, Yazin, FTZ School from Fenzo, that kind of stuff. And even these days, there's a lot of influence, like Ethan Becker, that is a really amazing YouTuber, Tonico Pantoja, and those artists that you see on Instagram on ArtStation, like Nelson Becania and Bastian Likov the Harm. That's kind of stuff heavily influenced me. So my art style and my influence comes from so many places that it actually you cannot pinpoint it anymore. It is something that it definitely just exists. And does this just exist because I actually have been I've been a long time on this road. So yeah, one of the older things that have influenced me and influence everyone is the media that we consume. I really like anime and I really like animation itself. So like Pixar and all that kind of stuff. So you cannot. It comes to a point that you actually saw so much things and heavily studied those things that my art style, not your art style, my art style is actually somewhat heavily based. That's it.
Do you have any goals or projects you look forward to?
Projects that I'm looking forward to? There's a lot of them looking forward to. But there are things that need to be done first, like finishing my commissions. Let's start with that. But in the middle of those commissions, there was animation, and the animation was a pleasant surprise. So yeah, I'm looking forward to do more animations and all that kind of jazz. But also one project that I'm working on, it is some comics, and I really hope that someday my comic is actually published and actually done. And yeah, I hope at least at the end of this year I have a page so I can boast myself about that I'm actually doing something with my life, that kind of stuff.
What advice would you like to give to other artists?
Advice that I would give to my little self when I was a little kid. It was just study the fundamental, but do it in a fun way. Because in the end of the day, you will not be so hyped to do something super boring. On the other hand, I'm really good on dealing with boring stuff because I'm really methodical in the thing that I do. But not everyone is this way. So, to you, little Timmy, yeah, you, little Timmy, put your pants on. You disgust me. Anyways, just do it in a fun way. Like today, I'm gonna draw some perspective and do some cubes, and with those cubes, create some characters interact with the planes that those cubes create. Create a little scene, something simple. It don't need to be so like fundamentally heavy. You just need to be fun in a way that you remember. Second tip that I would probably do is that there are gonna be things that you learn on your art career that doesn't come from studying fundamentals of art itself. It comes by living. You probably would not understand how light works if you don't stop on your couch and look to a really weird corner of your room and say, "Oh, the colors of the wall look like this." That kind of stuff. That kind of stuff is important. Actually living and experience life in the fullest and mindful manner actually can create and teach you the most important things about art. And that has come from my philosophy as well of, you know, even though the guy might be a moron, they could be saying something useful. That's kind of stuff. So yeah, thank you for having me, Lacrima, and yeah, you people should listen to this amazing gal. Happy to nest me, and peace out.
Thank you really much for your time, Soratern. I'm sure little Timmy learned a lot from your interview. He has his own YouTube channel, so make sure to check it out and follow him on social media. You can find Soratern's link in the description. If you want to support the project, I would be really happy about a comment or like. In 2 weeks you will discover the colorful art of Lucina Waterbell. Thank you really much for watching and have a wonderful week.